Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick Nanji. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about I Love Lucy, or at least not necessarily about I Love Lucy, more about Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, and that movie that's coming out starring Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz and Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball. William Frawley is going to be played by J.K. Simmons. You may know him from Spider-Man. He was J. Jonah Jameson. And so I have notes here. I'm wearing my Fred shirt. Of course, I love this Fred shirt so much. I have my notes here, which I'm going to be referring to back and forth. Some of it will be stream of consciousness. If you're stumbling upon this video, this is not the typical type of video I make. Usually it's very focused on the shows and so forth, but my inbox has been flooded through Instagram and Facebook and different methods. People trying to ask me, what do you think of this movie that's coming out about the Lucy Desi movie and so forth. So I do want to let you all know a few things. First of all, and it's a very important thing, this is solely my opinion. I never really proclaim myself to be a person of authority on these topics, in the sense of I think I have an audience that would support that. Yes, I know and I have a lot of knowledge about these shows because I've researched, because I've studied, because I've been watching these shows my entire life, over 3 decades, and essentially during the last 6-7 years I've studied these shows non-stop, pretty much every bit and piece of information that I can find. That doesn't necessarily qualify this opinion as the authoritative one, so I do want to say that. This video is very time sensitive, and what I mean by that is if you're watching this right when it came out, well then it makes sense, but as time goes on, things may change with the movie, with the schedule. The movie may be canceled, maybe they change an actor. Things change in time, especially now as I'm speaking. They're currently filming the movie. It's in production, so it's not even out yet. You can't watch it right now. I don't even think there's, I could be wrong, but I don't even think there's a released method that they've announced. So it'll be in theaters or on stream, through Hulu or whatever it might be. So yeah, so these are just my thoughts at this moment. And like I said, I'm pretty sure some of you are going to agree with me, some of you are going to disagree, and that's okay, but people have wanted to hear about me and my thoughts on it. So I did want to preface this video with this information. This movie is not a movie about Lucy Ricardo and Ricky Ricardo. It's a movie about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. That's two very different things. It's not about I Love Lucy per se. Now there will be references, they'll talk about I Love Lucy. There may even be a quick scene or two, but the idea is it's not like a recreation of I Love Lucy the show, okay? So it's telling about their personal real lives. That is Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Yeah, so I do want to make that clear before I go into it, before anyone in the comments say, hey, they're not remaking I Love Lucy. Yes, very aware, they're not remaking I Love Lucy. They are making a movie, kind of like a biopic. Could we say that? Like a biopic. It's not out yet, so I have seen no clips. I have seen some images from actual filming, some like behind the scenes images that were leaked. And so again, those are tentative. Things could change, things could adjust. People in production could see the reaction of the people to those leaked images and change things. So again, this is a very time sensitive video, and again, things may change. I know I'm doing a lot of build up here, but I think it's important because I'm gonna get a lot of things in the comments, and I just want to clarify that before I even start. I also want to say that Lucy Luckenbill, that's the daughter of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, Lucy Luckenbill, or Lucy Arnaz Luckenbill, she fully supports the movie, the endeavors, and she even kind of clarified that, hey, this movie is not about I Love Lucy. That's not the focus. The focus is about my parents, she said. So of course her parents are Desi and Lucy, and she thinks it's important. She thinks it's important, I'm basically paraphrasing her message, not to really focus on who's playing them, but the message and the idea. So we'll just leave it at that. And there are people who support that, I've seen, and there are people who still don't support it. In my opinion though, I think, yes, she is authoritative because she is the daughter of these greats, these legends. However, I feel that the fans have the ultimate say in their opinion as a group, as a whole. And that's very important. I take that very seriously, especially when I make my videos. I'm making them as a fan, right? I'm just one plucked out of the fandom, and I make them from the perspective of a fan for other fans. That's my hope. I'm not like a corporate person or just someone like that who's trying to make, you know, a video appealing to fans and I know nothing about it. Well, no, I know the show back and forth, and so I think that's very important to know. Whereas, you know, someone like Lucy Luckenbill, I mean, she literally, it was their parents, right? So she knew them in and out as best as you can know human beings, right? Growing up with them. So yeah, so take that with a grain of salt, both of our opinions and so forth, and make up your own decision. Let me know in the comments below, and let's get into what I think about this endeavor. I think if you're a fan of mine, if you're a fan of my videos, it won't be surprised to know I don't say it much, but I've said it here and there. I am not a fan of remakes. Okay, before I get more into that, anything that I would classify as a remake is something that is a direct copy with other individuals trying to emulate the first product. So an example of that, a Picasso painting, you have the original painted by Pablo Picasso is the Picasso. But then I look at that and then I say, I'm gonna recreate that. I'm gonna copy that and make it as close to that as possible with my skills, with my talents, lack of talent, whatever that would be, and I draw it. And it's close, maybe it's a little different, but it's not gonna be the same. It's never gonna be the same, right? Even if I take a photocopy of it, even if I take a photo of it, the photo of the Picasso is not the Picasso, right? And so the reason why I'm making this distinction is because I believe art cannot be copied. You can try to copy it. You can do your best with your talents to emulate it. I even think you can't really surpass what is already the best show of all time. Now, yes, as I said before, they're not trying to make the best show of all time. So I am trying to make that distinction. They're not copying I Love Lucy, and then I make a little segue. There are many shows who've done this before. Will and Grace, they've done scenes from I Love Lucy, which I won't get too much into. I had really no interest to look at them at all because I have no interest to see others portraying a show that I love so much on its own, and I love it for what it is, right? When I have the Picasso in front of me, I don't want to get a photocopy of the Picasso and see what that looks like. No, because I have the original with me that I can watch anytime on demand in my possession, and essentially I own it. So yes, this is something that I really believe. You cannot imitate art. It essentially will lead to failure, and it's just not going to be as good as what came before it. So in my eyes, okay, good, make the biopic. I'm assuming those who are making it, the production company, are capable of making it. They have the rights to it. They have the authority to do it. It's not like me just going out and making it, right? There's authority of owners saying, yes, you can definitely do this, and there will be no problem. And yeah, they'll probably make money with this movie. I'm fairly sure they will. Yeah, but I have no interest to look at it, to be that blunt. I think biopics have been done. Actually, no. Biopics have been done on Lucy and Desi. There was one in 2003, I believe, around that time. I was highly disappointed at what I saw. It was kind of mind-altering because I was young at the time. I was in high school. And so while there wasn't anything adult in it, per se, there were things in it that shocked me. And there were exaggerations, and we know there was accuracy issues as well. That stopped me from watching I Love Lucy for like 5 years. I literally stopped watching the show pretty much throughout high school, and I didn't pick it up again until college. I refused to watch it. It was just so depressive to see that and to think this is what happened. And they stretched the truth a lot in that. That's not to say that it's going to happen here, but I saw a comment where they were discussing this, and it was, I think it was so wise. I wish I knew exactly who this was who said this, but it was really great. And it said simply this. It said, what are they going to show in this Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem movie that hasn't already been said? Why is this coming out again? And I think there's truth to that. I think YouTubers like myself cover a lot of these truths of what happened. The information has been out there for over 60 years. In books and interviews, people have told this. Lucille Ball herself, Desi Arnaz himself wrote a book on a lot of this stuff. I know some may say, well, then I don't want to read the book. I want to watch the movie. A movie by people who knew what they were doing. Now, also, something that Lucy Luckenbill said, the daughter of Desi and Lucille Ball, she said something that was interesting in my eyes. She said that it doesn't matter what they look like. I totally respect her. I think she is a powerhouse in what she has done in her own career, being on Here's Lucy and later on at theater and so forth. Although I would disagree, I would respectfully disagree and say that I think how someone looks, especially when you're portraying someone like Lucille Ball, and the fan base that is there has to be a resemblance. Why? Because if you're gonna put yourself into the illusion of what this movie is, that creates part of the trick. And again, maybe they'll do some CGI over her face. I don't know how that's gonna look. They've done it to like Superman and so forth, removed mustaches, added things here and there to other parts. Doesn't seem like there'd be prosthetics from actual filming and then you seeing that. So there is makeup, but there's no strong makeup that would change features where it's significantly, whoa, this looks like Lucille Ball, whoa, this looks like Desi Arnaz. Javier Bardem as well. Javier Bardem has very specific chiseled features that are nothing like Desi Arnaz. That, again, and some people I know may disagree and say, well, why are you so focused on looks? Again, because it's Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. And I think, again, they're not portraying the Ricardos. I'm looking at the significance of these actors looking like the real humans that lived, and everyone knows what they look like. Like, you can see Lucille Ball and you know exactly what she looks like. And then you see someone who doesn't and you're like, what? So it takes you out of the magic a little bit. The suspension of belief is more difficult because you're having to struggle to see this person as someone else. Comparing it to like the Star Wars movie, Han Solo or the Solo story, whatever it would be, I declined to watch that myself. I think the main actor, Eric Enright or whatever his name was, no fault of his own, he didn't look at all like Harrison Ford. And to me, it's not Han Solo. To me. There are other biopics and other things where they look so alike and they're maybe not as well-known actors with a lot of talent. And to me, it just asks the question. I don't have a definite answer. I have maybe my own answers that I create in my mind. But it begs the question, why are these actors used? Maybe because they're good actors? Great. From what I understand, they're not the only great actors out there. They're big names, Nicole Kidman, right? Javier Bardem, right? These are the big movies. J.K. Simmons, all great actors in their respect, but is it good casting? Who made these casting choices? I guess the fandom's going to watch and find out. But that lends you to my idea of why I'm not really too excited myself personally to watch it. I think it's really important when looking on this not to be selfish and to understand that if we're making this biopic that this is not about us, this is about Desi Arnaz, this is about Lucille Ball, and there needs to be a responsibility to be as accurate as possible to these individuals. And I'm sure that's their goal, right? And it's almost like they're obviously gone, so I think it's important to respect that memory and to do that. For example, that 2003 biopic did not do that. They obviously had the rights to do it. I don't know who was behind production. I don't know those details. I have no interest of getting into that and the messiness of that. But to me, that kind of tinges the individuals. The individuals are humans like you and me, made mistakes like you and me, and those will be put in the forefront of what's going on. That's why whenever I make videos, I may touch upon these things, but I really try not to cover things like divorce, which I have no place in saying what happened between these two individuals. And I think, hey, this is what happened, this is why they got divorced. No, this is between those two individuals at that time, and only they really knew. I feel very strongly about that. When we get to things like Bob Crane and his untimely death, who am I to go in there and say, hey, he did something wrong, this other person did something wrong? I have my own faults, my own issues, right? and they're not being put out there, but these individuals, because of the stardom, it is. So I'm not going to disrespect them by putting that out there. That's how I see it. That's why I try not to get into those topics. Every once in a while we'll talk about drama things here and there, small things that honestly eventually usually get resolved. Things that maybe they had an argument, thing like, to me, the Vivian Vance Bill Frawley thing, everyone knew about it. It was kind of play back and forth. Some nasty things were said here and there, but it was nothing that would tinge the individuals. It was just their personalities. They clashed. There were two people that just didn't get along, and that's okay. That happens, right? There was nothing earth-shattering about it. It's just surprising if you watch the show. The timing's also surprising. A lot of YouTubers are getting a lot of popularity working and talking about these classic shows. Now the movie comes out. When that early 03 era came out, that was not really a time when YouTube was around. There was no YouTube. They still made biopics. But I think that now is just like a time where they were able to put a lot of stardom in it. And yeah, people are really pulled one way or another, whether they're interested in it or not. I think they're welcome to make it. I'm sure a lot of fans are going to watch it. I'm sure a lot of fans are not going to watch it. And it would just be another thing that comes and goes. And the people will still go back to watching the original I Love Lucy. And it will just be something on the sideline. Also, if you haven't heard, The Munsters is now being remade. It's currently starting production or pre-production. Rob Zombie, I don't know if some of you have heard of him, some of you haven't. He is a huge fan of The Munsters. In fact, it says it's his passion project. He's been trying to make it, trying to get the rights, trying to work with Universal and so forth. It's finally okay. I saw a lot of people upset over that, and it's just very interesting because people don't want these shows touched, and I get that wholeheartedly. Because what's going to happen? Are they going to create something that's similar but different? Create the exact same copy? I think people enjoy what's out there already, and I would say what's out there is great. It's timeless. There's no reason to change it, to alter it. And yeah, I think a lot of fans know that, and a lot of fans understand that as well. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight what I believe. I wish them success in their project, just like I do my own videos, and I definitely want to bring you the best content talking about these individuals. I will always say the number one purpose of my videos is to bring back the nostalgia, not only for me, because I love doing it, it's fun, but just honoring the memory of these individuals, whether it's the cast, the crew, the actors, the writers, the filmmakers, people who dream these shows up, to kind of keep them alive. I was always taught, if no one's really dead as long as you keep their memory alive, as you continue talking about them. And I really feel that I speak them into the memory of like the world, kind of like they're being kept alive if I talk about them, if that makes sense. And I know that's true because I see the comments of people being so happy seeing a video like this, because it brings brings the memory of the show, right? And I think that's so important. This was a long video. I don't apologize for that. I think it was needed. I think a lot of you wanted a thorough explanation of what I think. And yeah, I welcome your comments down below. There's no reason, I think, for anyone to get combative. Not that there needs to be, but again, it's YouTube. People are free to put their comments down below. I ask that we keep it civil, just like I gave my opinion and welcome any differing opinion. That's okay, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's what makes it beautiful, that we're all fans, we all come from different backgrounds, and that's what I like about YouTube. So thank you so much for listening, for understanding, and like I said, this is a very atypical video that I do on my channel. I usually just cover the shows and so forth, but I've had so much response from people just wanting to know what I think, and so here it is. Next videos, we'll just move on to content as usual. Thank you so much for supporting me. We'll see you next time, guys and gals. Let's say hi to Fred. Hi, Fred. And we'll see you next time. Don't forget, guys and gals, be hopeful. Thank you so much to all the supporters I have on Patreon, especially my Diamond tier patrons. Vito L, Tommy G, Ricky, David D, Citizen Kane, Sally N, and Grace U. If you want to find more exclusive content, visit my Patreon page. Links in the description.